Hello and a really big warm welcome to this presentation from the Urban Penguin. My name is Andrew Mallett and today we're going to dive into the world of fortune and cookies inside of Linux. The fortune command will go through and inquire, retrieve quotes or information from cookie files. We'll take a look at both the fortune command and the cookie files and look to see how you can adapt these files so they work for your needs. We'll look at creating simple prompts for questions. Hello and a really big warm welcome to the command line of my Rocky 9 system. I always think it's a good idea to start these demonstrations using the hostname ctl command so you're under no hidden information about the operating system that we are using. However, it's pretty much a standard command that we are using, the fortune command. Now, I already have this installed on Rocky Linux, but we could double check using yum install and fortune-mod. So that's the package name on our Rocky Linux system, and you can see that it's already installed and is the latest version, so we're ready to go. I can then just go through and run it with the fortune command and we can get some kind of quote or joke or art coming back. And these are controlled by cookie files. We can take a look at the cookie files by going through and specifying -f so we can see the data files that we are looking at. The idea of the percentage just shows me roughly the percentage of the total database size that is occupied by that particular file. When we look at some of those databases, if I go through and query just say the kids database, we're then going to get something coming back that is perhaps a little bit more kid friendly or to do with kids. So we could choose the cookie that we want. If I look inside of the USR share games and fortune subdirectory, do you know what? We're going to find all of these files. The .dat file represents the compiled database that we interrogate, and then the source file is shown in the file without the suffix. So when we look at ASCII art, we've got ASCII art and ASCII art.dat. It's the ASCII art that is the source file. The .dat is the file that we query when we reference that cookie file. The nice thing about this, though, is that we can create our own cookie files, and they don't have to be simple things like this. We could actually even have questions for anything that we're studying. We could be studying Linux or we could be studying law. It doesn't really matter. But if we go through and create ourselves a text file, I've already started one here, let's say for studying Linux Plus, and I've got 3 questions in here so far. The delimiter for the questions is the %. So when I'm starting a new question, I always begin with the % symbol and then a new line, and then I can type my question on one or multiple lines. We can go through and add a new question here, so we can specify which file typically holds local Linux group. And we put a question mark if we want. Now that's it. I don't need to add another % in, because if I add another % in, it's going to think there's another question, which there won't be after that. But we just use the % symbol to separate our questions. Now, presumably, I'm going to want more quotes or questions in than I've got, but this is going to do. And when I look, I've got then the Linux Plus file, and it's this file that we use then str file, so string file, -c to specify our delimiter, so the % is the default one that we use, the name of the file, and then the output file that we want. So I'm going to call it Linux Plus .dat. Now it gives me the header information. The header information is added to the .dat file, and we can see now that I've got the Linux Plus source file and the Linux Plus .dat data file. I can then copy these across to USR share games and fortune, Now that they're there, we're going to be able to see them using that command fortune -F to look at our files. And then as we scroll up, we should be able to see, there we've got our 0.02% being made up of Linux Plus questions. So now that we've located it, we know it's being searched by our fortune command. We can then go through and start looking at our questions and see how well that we've done. So if I clear my screen, Control and L clears your screen, I can run then Fortune and then Linux Plus. And we can see then that we can start pulling questions from Linux Plus. Now we've only got a few questions to go through, so we are going to start getting some duplicates coming back. But the more we put in, obviously the more random choice we've got. But this then just shows you how the fortune command works, but also how we can start building up our own quotes, ASCII art, jokes, or quizzes to match our needs.
All that is left to say is thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, then you are probably sadder than I first thought. For more of this drivel, please subscribe, like and comment to @TheUrbanPenguin.